Hey, here I am again. Got another book. Just finished reading On the Other Side of Freedom by Deray McKesson. Deray, I think it's pronounced. Guy, he wears the vest. He's a part of the Black Lives Matter movement. I read this book because I didn't know too much about him. I've seen him on different television programs, and I see him on Twitter a lot, but I didn't really get the history of who he was or where he came from. So just want to read about him and his philosophy on the world. I thoroughly enjoyed some of the points he made about him growing up. And, I didn't know that his mother wasn't in his life. She left at a very young age and resurfaced when he was 30 years old. I went through that myself. So I could kind of relate to him. Hold on, this window killing me. In that aspect, but he's pretty much hard left, a very left leaning guy, which I don't have a problem with. He's kind of really, really out there as far as his political beliefs, but many people are, and I don't judge him. But he has a chapter in this book where he talks about the dichotomy of whiteness. Let me get it right. The choreography of whiteness, and he makes some claims, man. you know, a lot of the stuff is a lot of his writing is slogans. So we got to make a better world and blah blah blah. The stuff that they sell to the unknowing. I didn't even really see too much concrete in his concrete solutions. He talked a lot about the statistics about police and how they report, and I thought that was pretty good, and how the media skews actually the relationship between the police and the places that they so-called protect and serve. He talked about how if the police do an investigation after a certain time is thrown out, and they make all these rules without even the public's, and I agree with that. I agree with that, but is that on them or is that our fault? Because we spend all our time chasing behind entertainment as adults, or I think it's both sides. It's some partly our fault. It's part of their fault for not making it transparent, especially in 2018. Anything you want to do is transparent now. Just put it online. So, hey, I say, hey, they need to put that information out there. But if we don't go and search for it, then that's our fault. But he talked about how when he was younger, he never knew that white people could be wrong. I don't want to misquote him. I'll never forget the day one of my teachers said something that was wrong. She made a mistake, and it was the first time I had ever seen a white person be wrong. I don't remember the details of her mistake, but I remember realizing that she was wrong, and I can still see her correcting herself. It's weird to say it now, but as a kid, I didn't know that white people could be wrong. I certainly hadn't seen a wrong white person on TV. Mm. Oh, maybe, I don't know. You shouldn't have been watching so much TV. He goes into this whole chapter about how whiteness is different than white people, and how whiteness is the power. And I sort of disagree with that. Maybe I was raised in a different environment. Maybe I wasn't raised with those beliefs, but I mean, I always knew that humans could be wrong. Maybe it feels to me that he's putting whiteness on this pedestal. But I don't want to make this a criticism of his politics or whatever. I'm talking about the book, and I thought the book was great. If you want to know more about, the Black Lives Matter, he explains why he wears the blue vest. He explained that he's not the founder of Black Lives Matter, that he's just a part, and that it was an organic organization that just sprung up from common people. And I respect the fact that he didn't try to make himself the leader or the face of. And he talks about that, how that would be the easy story. But then the real story is never really the easy story. The real story is always more complicated than the story that you'll get from the media. And he talks about how Twitter, which I agree, he talks about how Twitter and social media has changed that. We don't have to wait for the newspaper to give what's going on. We can instantly tell what's going on. And that's amazing. I found out about this book on Twitter. But yeah, man, great book. Great book. I hope that everyone would go and read this if you're interested in what's going on in the United States, if you're interested in what's going on in the African American community, as far and even the protest community. Read this book, man. Read this book. It is awesome. And even if you're interested in the Mr. McKesson, he talks a lot about his life, his father and his grandmother, you know, and talks about how he was raised in Baltimore, but he went into an integrated school system. How his father actually bought a house in an area where he was able to get the education that he received. So you know, I always follow Mr. McKesson. I support him. I think he's doing the right thing. As he sees fit. I don't agree with all his politics, but I don't agree with probably nobody, all of their politics. So go for it, man. I would just encourage him, And I would encourage anyone to pick this book up, read it. It's pretty good. Y'all have a good week. I'm out.